Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I know you missed Papa DJ, but I am back to bring you second chapter of the God Particle. Now, I do have a bit of news for you guys. First of all, on my 100 subscriber thank you video, or my cousins. It's coming along, we are trying to get it out. We're just trying to find a decent recording program so we can record the game for you guys. It's a special occasion. I'm pretty damn late. I think I'm at like 130 already. But we're working on it. Hopefully we can get it out sometime this week before the weekend. Really, we're trying, guys. Trust me, we're putting lots of effort into it. Alright, so this is chapter 2, A New World. It is by Zephyr. Once again, I will link you down to it in the description. So if you want to read along with me, I think it makes it a lot more fun. That's what I do with all my fanfiction readings, especially with Mike the Microphone. That guy's a badass. Okay, this is going to be a long one, so sit down, guys, and get ready. James awoke to the sound of nothing but quiet. As his vision cleared, he realized it was still dark out. He began to remember what had happened. The shaking, the earthquake, the pulling sensation. Suddenly, the magnitude of the quietness hit him. This was all wrong. There shouldn't be a commotion. Lots of it. There should be sirens and fire trucks. There had just been a major earthquake which has caused a serious accident with the Tevatron. He frantically reached into his pocket looking for his iPhone. Amazingly, it was still intact and still appeared to be functioning. He quickly dialed the 911 emergency number and was rewarded with a single beep. He blinked and looked at the display in the iPhone. 0 bars, and in the middle... Ooh, I just lost my place. And in the middle of the screen displayed no signal. That was strange, he thought. Maybe his cell phone service was out from the quake, though. Maybe electrical disruptions had cut off power to the cell phone towers. For the first time since awakening, he started to really look around him. He saw a lot of debris in the immediate area that he assumed must be the remains of the lab he was in. Underneath him, however, was just dirt, grass, and forest undergrowth. Something was definitely not right. The grounds were obviously unkept and had not been tended to. Beyond the area debris, all he could see was a forest. A mixture of deciduous and coniferous trees. Like the undergrowth, it appeared these trees had never been disturbed. He also noticed that it had stopped snowing and there was not even any snow on the ground. The temperature was much warmer than it had been. Much too warm for December in Chicago. Well, maybe I can't get a cell phone signal, but I should at least be able to find out where the hell I am. He looked at his iPhone again and turned on the GPS. Searching for satellites. Unable to acquire satellites. Cannot determine position because a GPS lock cannot be acquired. What the hell? James could feel panic starting to build inside him now. He quickly scanned through his entire brain and all of its knowledge of theoretical physics, trying to calm him down with any scientifically logical explanation that would explain the situation he was in. This isn't possible. It's not logical. It's not possible. It's not possible. He repeated over and over again in a worried tone, starting to hyperventilate as the panic set in. Then he cut himself. Calm down. Calm down. Panicking won't do you any good, he said to himself as he forced himself to control his breathing and slow it down. James decided that the best way to proceed was to take an analytical look at the situation he was in, and what could be done about it. The first concern was obvious. He didn't seem to be anything near the resembled civilization. He could hear none of the usual noises that would indicate he was still near the bustling city of Chicago. No traffic noise, no aircraft taking off or landing at O'Hare International. Nothing. He didn't see how that was possible, but it was the situation he found himself in and he would have to deal with it. Well, that would be a problem. He was a scientist that spent his entire life He was a scientist who had spent his entire life on research campuses, in labs, and in major research cities. He was ill-equipped, both physically and mentally, to survive in the forest environment he had now found himself in. He simply didn't have the wilderness survival knowledges or physical stamina for this kind of environment. He knew that it was unlikely he would survive more for a few days if he could not find help. He stood up now, wincing and stumbling a bit as he worked the stiffness out of his legs. At least they seemed to be alright, aside from some bruising where the debris had slammed into him. He started to examine the debris he found laying around him, looking for anything that might be useful to aid in his survival. Burnt out electronics, electronic components such as resistors, capacitors, and transformers, none of which was likely still functional. A metal placard laying upside down. He reached down to turn it over. Etched into the other side was Lab 49. Other than that, he was found in a long pieces of steel that must have been part of the building structure itself. Damn, he said to himself, finding nothing in the breeze that appeared that would be useful. James checked his iPhone again. At least the camera was working. The only option he had at this point was to search for some sort of help. A town, village, hut, anything. He could use the camera to take pictures along the way to help him find his way back. But that would have to wait until morning. Setting off at night, he knew, would probably only result in getting hopelessly lost and being unable to find his way back to a starting point. He didn't know what else to do right now, so he found the softest patch of ground he could and laid down on his back, attempting to get some sleep. He looked up into the night sky and saw the moon shining through the canopy cover of the trees. He thought the moon looked strange. It seemed like it was the wrong size.